Sure, yep, yep, that's good. Oh, okay. I refuse.
Yeah, they got to put a parking lot. Where the landscape is set up. Both wall and
Oh, okay.
the big one. That's why you got to do it.
Everything was
Hey, you went to my brother's restaurant in Las Vegas?
Wow.
Three of you? No, just you and Karen. We don't we were discussing.
Oh, okay.
She was there when I went to
With the fries. Very tasty. They have taco. Stay here. When you come back, let's go. Get they have all kinds of tacos. They have all fresh.
We have 3 classes left. So clogged up with my allergies. Oh my God, I took an hour today.
When there's no
We are going to call to order the meeting for the Pine Ridge Fort Myers Condo Association board meeting for the month of August. It is August 19th, 2026, 6:31, and we are at 4801 Lakeside Cliff Boulevard, Fort Myers, Florida, 33905. So we are going to go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, okay? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Eric, are you going to do the roll call, please?
Yes. Andy Levin?
Here.
Bill England? Patrick Madigan? Brian Knapp? Brian, you there?
I'm here.
Oh, he's here. We didn't leave.
Okay.
Michelle Camp?
Here.
Deb Kiden?
Here.
And
Sharon
Sharon
is not here.
So we look small, but we're almost all here, so. Eric, was there proof of notice?
Yes.
Can I get somebody to make a motion to read or waive the reading of the previous month's minutes?
I make a motion to waive the reading of the previous month's minutes.
All right, Deb, thank you. Can we get a second?
I second.
Okay. Nobody has any problem with that. We're gonna go ahead and waive the reading of the minutes. And we will go ahead and get started on the manager's report. We have a lot to go through tonight.
Good evening. Just like Michelle said, it's been an unusually active period here at Pine Ridge, but that's a good thing. Staff and contractors have managed 2 separate lightning-related gate events, a major clubhouse entrance and ADA project, some serious wildlife removal, significant law enforcement coordination, irrigation and drainage work, ongoing grounds improvement, the reserve study update, the pool permit follow-up, financial review, insurance and accident claims, website compliance work, and the final stages of the Xfinity fiber conversion, all while continuing normal resident service and day-to-day operations. I want to focus on 3 things that we completed, where the remaining work stands, and what management will be moving next. The clubhouse doors, gate and entrance system, and wildlife update appear separately under old business, and trash collection appears under new business. So I'll briefly note their status here and provide full reports during the business portion of the meeting. Law enforcement and community security. During this reporting period, the Lee County Sheriff's Office made 2 arrests directly relevant to the recent security concerns at and near Pine Ridge. On August 10th, during this reporting period, Lee County Sheriff's Office made 2 arrests directly relevant to the recent security concerns. On August 10th at approximately 3:41 a.m., deputies responded to 9500 Green Cypress Lane after a resident reported a man walking through the gated community, checking vehicle door handles, and moving through dark areas. Deputies were dispatched and they found and arrested Corey Mixon on the Pine Ridge property on a charge of loitering and prowling. Additionally, he had some drugs that were found on him, and he has drug charges. He's currently incarcerated in the Lee County Detention Center. Mixon matched the resident's description and told deputies that he was just cutting through our gated community on his way to Tampa. And his driver's license address was Key West. So halfway there. Separately, on July 29th, deputies arrested an individual familiar to us, Paul Anthony Sloan. That's the gentleman that we had the problems with before that we had to remove from the property, and who we can't prove it, but we suspect may have been part of the tricycles that went missing. But Sloan was arrested in the wooded area along Orange River Boulevard immediately outside the community. They found him riding a tricycle. Sloan was charged with robbery by sudden snatching. The alleged is that he ripped a gold chain from an older man's neck, pushed the victim to the ground, and fled. Deputies located Sloan in the wooded area with a tricycle because Pine Ridge residents had recently reported a tricycle stolen, and Sloan was found with one. He was viewed locally as a possible suspect in that theft. However, the public record reviewed by management does not show that he was charged with the Pine Ridge bicycle theft. But basically, he was camping out in the wooded areas that the county bought, and he told them about the tent there. They went, they did a search warrant on the tent, and he's also incarcerated at the moment. So we'll see how those play out. But in the interest of transparency, I want to let you guys know what is going on. I do want to tell you that with the recent gate issues, the August 10th arrest at 3:41 a.m., the gates were working and operational. So that's not somebody who got in because the gates were open. That's somebody who must have snuck in around the wall on 75 or something. I hope the truth will come out on that, but we will find out. We'll follow up. The grounds, irrigation, drainage, property maintenance. The grounds program continued on several fronts. Irrigation checks identified and repaired broken rotors, nozzles, pop-up heads, and the lateral line beneath the new sidewalk. An earlier mainline leak associated with stump grinding activity in the Windsor Club area was repaired, and a decoder issue was corrected. We also received approximately 700 feet of 6-inch solid drain pipe, and that was used for the drainage work on Blackberry Drive to drain the street on Blackberry Drive. Our carpenter has completed 3 additional meter rooms and is now installing the final hardware. Routine pool service, common area cleaning, lighting repairs, and property cleanup continued. Following resident concerns regarding the recent hallway floor soft washing, I have formally expressed dissatisfaction with the quality of the work and requested that the contractor return and redo the areas that we don't like. We are awaiting a response, but I imagine that they will do so. We've also continued to process an insurance claim arising from the July 4th vehicle accident at the entrance. Supporting invoices for damage to landscape, irrigation, lighting, and the monument area have been submitted to Geico for reimbursement. Geico called me around 7:30 last night. They told me that they got everything, it's approved, and basically if we have any more estimates for repairs, turn them in and then we can get this finalized. So we may have 1 or 2 more estimates that we want to turn in before we get it finalized, but then we will have the front gate really nice and we'll have the funds to do so. Resident services, infrastructure, and planning. The Xfinity fiber conversion was approximately 95% at the July board meeting, with approximately 30 residents remaining. I think we're about 96% now. So we got to go a little bit faster to get those last few people. And I know it's not required, and some of you are not going to do it. If you choose not to, that's fine. However, you are paying for it. So it only makes sense to take it. The signed Atwell boundary survey was received on July 21st. It gives the board professional measurements and recorded easement references for the southern boundary area, replacing estimates and assumptions with reliable information. The survey establishes the facts on the ground. Any legal or policy decision remains a separate board matter. And we're going to be replacing those wooden stakes with more solid, not necessarily permanent stakes, but more permanent stakes. We also continue monitoring the dumpster and bulk trash conditions. That's going to be talked about under new business. And the permit was finalized for the pool that the contractor failed to apply for. What had happened is we got the permit after the fact. In order to do so, we hired a consultant because it's kind of difficult to do. And that consultant cost $2,150 to do that. So I didn't really like that the company that did the pool, the guy retired and kind of wiped his hands clean and said he didn't care. So I sent him a pretty serious certified letter to all of his addresses, and he decided that he didn't want to call us back, and he mailed us a check for $2,150. So that was a mistake on their part, but at least they paid us back for it. Without duplicating the treasurer's report, the association remains in a strong position. The favorable property insurance renewal is going to make a big difference. It reduces not only the premium, but also all other perils, means anything other than a hurricane, a fire, fire, something like that. The deductible was $25,000, now it's $5,000. That's significant. And then for a hurricane, the deductible was 5% of the value of your building, now it's 2%. So that's a major reduction. That materially strengthens the 2026 operating position and gives the board greater flexibility to address legitimate community needs. Stolen Building Solutions has been re-engaged for the board-approved traditional reserve study update. We're now assembling the completed project information, current costs, planned work, reserve balances, and budget data so that we will have the numbers for the budget committee for future capital planning. We completed preliminary research into electronic voting. This is something that we really want to lean into because I think you can get more people involved, make it easier for people. We have people that live internationally that don't get the mail quickly enough. So at the recent CAI national conference, I interviewed every major platform, and the one that really stuck out to me as head and shoulders above the rest was a company called Get Quorum. And Patrick Madigan is going to be helping me with this. We're going to have a Zoom meeting with them probably next week to go over everything. And I was really impressed with Get Quorum's owner-supported and meeting day model. So we're going to evaluate whether a secure, legally compliant system can make voting easier, improve participation, and get quorum response faster, simplify administration, reduce errors, and this company likes to do it in such a way that they will potentially save us money between the savings on the printing and the postage and the time and all the outside support and efforts. So before any recommendation returns to the board, we're going to go over everything with Get Quorum. I had intended to meet with a couple of the different companies, but this one was so far head and shoulders better than the others. I really think we should do our very best if we're going to do it to get them. So we will report back on that probably next month, and we'll have exact pricing, realistic savings, and that will be very good. Looking ahead over the next several weeks, immediate priorities are complete the clubhouse punch list, carry out any board direction on the gate, entrance, wildlife, and trash items that we have tonight, continue the reserve study update, working with Stone, the palm tree trimming starting next week. Tree service will be here. We'll be trimming the palm trees in preparation for hurricane season. We'll do this every August. And then the e-voting. I think that's pretty exciting if we do that. Then planning ahead, we're looking at the roads out there. We're looking at the flooring in this clubhouse. We're looking at the painting work that needs to come up in 2027. So there's a lot going on. This reporting period demonstrates the range of work that we've been doing. Some work is highly visible, such as the clubhouse doors and the repaired gate. And other work is behind the scenes, like permits and things like that. But I want to let you guys know the full scope of what's been going on. And if anybody has any questions at all and wants to know more detail about any of these specific items, come to the meeting next Wednesday at 3 o'clock here at the clubhouse. And we've been getting a really good turnout, and I think getting a lot of good information out to people. So if you're interested, please come. We have a managers meeting every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Does anybody have questions for Eric in what he has said to this point? Any of the board members?
No.
Okay, thank you. That is a whole lot that's gone on, and all of this also while his father was in the hospital, out of the hospital, in rehab, out of rehab, back home. I mean, there was a lot going on in his personal life. So we really do appreciate all that. So it really has been quite the month, I'll tell you, especially the last couple of weeks. Florida has again shown us that they get a vote. The storm gets a vote. So while Eric has mentioned, we're going to be looking at some of the issues that came up later on. I'm not going to address that, but I do want to speak a little bit about the individual incidents and how we respond to them, how we respond as a board, how we respond as management team, and as a community of 462 homes. So let me begin by plainly saying the frustration everybody was feeling and sensing was understandable. When you pull up to the gate and it doesn't open, or you see an entrance or roadway without proper lighting, you'll learn that a gate must remain open while repairs are pending. It's inconvenient, to say the least, and unsettling. The residents felt it, management felt it, and the board felt it. The concerns were reasonable, and they were taken seriously. At the same time, reasonable concern must remain connected to accurate information. Pine Ridge is a gated community, but it's not a guarded community. Our gates are an important access control tool and a meaningful deterrent, but they cannot completely prevent a determined person from finding a way into the community. Eric already told you about the fella that they ended up arresting. Real community security comes from layers: dependable gates, proper lighting, surveillance systems, cooperation with law enforcement, responsive management, alert residents, and people taking reasonable precautions to protect themselves and their property. Following the lighting-related equipment failures, management requested the service, followed up on replacement parts, coordinated with necessary vendors, and communicated the information available to him at each stage. Those updates were provided because residents deserve to know what's happening. Their purpose was not to create anxiety or alarm. The purpose was transparency. Silence creates an information vacuum, and information vacuums have a way of becoming filled with assumptions. Some repairs took longer than any of us wanted because specialized parts and qualified technicians were not immediately available. The frustration created by that delay was real, and even while the repair work was actively being pursued. The board does not pretend that equipment is never going to fail. And when unexpected problems arise, a responsible board responds, communicates, learns from the experience, and determines what can reasonably be done to reduce the likelihood or severity of a future failure. At our recent Managers Corner meeting, the last one, we discussed having the entrance evaluated by a qualified lightning protection specialist. We also discussed whether improving grounding or surge protection or other protective measures could provide greater protection against future lightning-related damage. You're going to see on tonight's agenda that the board is going to discuss the front entrance system, including the potential cost of replacing or modernizing its operating equipment and considering additional protective measures. Thankfully, we're financially able to do so. We cannot honestly promise a lightning-proof system. Don't know if there is such a thing in Southwest Florida, but what we can promise is that we will evaluate available technology, seek qualified professional recommendations, and make an informed decision based on reliability, security, and responsible use of association funds. Our objective is not to win an argument about what happened. Our objective is to learn from it and improve our system. I also just want to spend a few minutes discussing law enforcement because it's an important part of the story that residents may not always see. LCSO serves and protects communities throughout Lee County, including Pine Ridge. While no community receives a guarantee that crime will never occur, a strong and established working relationship with local deputies matters, and especially when an incident requires a timely and coordinated response, as it did the other day. Over many years, Pine Ridge and Eric in particular have worked deliberately to establish and maintain a positive professional relationship with the deputies of LCSO. The visible example of that cooperation is the LCSO mobile surveillance tower that was made available to Pine Ridge while we worked to restore our entrance and security systems to the reliable operating condition that our residents expect. The tower provided an additional surveillance capability and a visible deterrent during this period. At the same time, neither the surveillance tower nor our cameras nor our gates can replace residents promptly reporting suspicious or criminal activity. With 462 homes, no single person can observe everything happening throughout Pine Ridge. Eric can't respond to an incident he has not been told about, and the property manager cannot act as a substitute for law enforcement. I was sitting in his office this afternoon, and that very thing happened. Somebody called, they saw someone on property, they wanted us to take care of it. Actually, they wanted us to send Skip and Jerry Long out there. And we're like, no, you need to call 911. They didn't want to call 911. We're like, that's what you need to do. So long story short, the association and its manager do not have police powers. Eric doesn't conduct the criminal investigations. He doesn't determine whether somebody should be arrested or have unlimited authority to remove any person whom somebody does not recognize. Any action taken by management must remain within the association's legal authority and be based on facts available. We also have to remember that an unfamiliar person may be a resident's guest, a caregiver, contractor, delivery driver, service provider, or even a family member. The appropriate response is to report suspicious behavior and specific facts, not to make assumptions based solely on someone's appearance. If you witness an emergency or a crime in progress, call 911 immediately. If you observe suspicious activity that's not an immediate emergency, then you call the LCSO's non-emergency number, 239-477-1000. We can only ask that after notifying LCSO that you would then just let Eric or the management office know. That allows the association to cooperate with responding deputies, document the incident, identify and preserve any available records or video, and take whatever additional action is appropriate within its authority. That most recent incident by the resident who had called in the wee hours of the morning is a perfect example of what should have been done and what was done. Management was informed in the morning and was able to obtain the arrest report on what had happened. That's what we want to see, the residents, management, and law enforcement doing each of their respective jobs and working together. So security is a shared responsibility. The board and management are responsible for maintaining and improving the systems under the association's control. Residents can help by locking their homes, their vehicles, their bicycles, securing valuables, and remaining aware of their surroundings, and promptly reporting any suspicious activity. Personal responsibility does not replace the association's responsibilities, and the association's responsibilities do not replace the need for reasonable personal precautions. We need both. I also want to just address some of the recent social media conversation. There were several comments posted on the Pine Ridge Free Box page that did not reflect information that had been reported to or verified by the association. Questions and concerns are welcome, but speculation should not be repeated as established fact. Social media can be useful for communicating with our neighbors, which everybody does, but it is not an official association communication channel, incident reporting system, or work order system. Not every board member uses Facebook or follows that particular page. Posting something there doesn't mean that the board, management, or law enforcement has received it or even seen it. If you want accurate information, go directly to the source. Contact Eric or the management office. Attend the weekly manager's corner. Ask your question and allow management to research it when an immediate answer is not available. Residents have every right to ask difficult questions, to disagree with a decision, to express frustration, and expect honest answers. No one is being asked to surrender those rights or agree with every decision that's made by this board. What we ask is that concerns be reported through the proper channels, that facts be verified before accusations are made, and that everyone recognize the difference between constructive criticism and speculation. Whether we agree on every issue or not, we all pass through the same entrance and we share the same investment in Pine Ridge. You don't have to agree with every decision to be a part of the solution. If you see a problem, report it. If you have a good idea, bring it forward. If we make a mistake, we will correct it. If we can improve something, we're going to work to improve it. But let's put more energy into making Pine Ridge better than proving one another wrong. The strongest communities are the ones that never experience problems. They're communities that respond calmly, communicate honestly, learn from experience, and work together. That's the community that I believe Pine Ridge is capable of being. It's the community that our residents deserve, and it's the community that your board and management team will continue working to strengthen every day. So I'm sorry that it was so long and lengthy, but there was a lot that I wanted to say, and I hope that it was heard. Thank you. Okay, the treasurer's report. Let's move on to the treasurer's report.
Bill, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready. First of all, I want to apologize to the board and to the people that is attending and also the ones listening tonight. I couldn't be there this afternoon. I've had a medical procedure done, and I kind of look funny because my head's all bandaged up and stuff. And so I didn't want to come and scare anybody no worse than I usually do. So that's what's going on with that. But anyway, I'll get right into the treasurer's report. If any of you picked up a copy this afternoon while you were turning the papers up. You can read along with me if you would like. Starting out, good evening, everybody. I have received the association's draft financial statements for the 7 months ending July the 31st, 2026. Pine Ridge remains in a strong and stable financial position. Through July the 31st, the association recorded approximately $3.39 million in total revenue and $3.09 million in total expenses, resulting in an excess of revenue over expenses of $297,692. That means we're not in the red, we're in the black. So that's a good thing. Of that amount, $163, $640 operations, and $134, $134,000, and that gives you place to reserve fund. Compared with 7-month operating budget, revenue was $241,958 higher than planned, and expenses were $78,316 higher than budget.
Revenue was higher than planned, but so was expenses.
Yeah, there you go. I know that. Yeah, I can bring it. I can blame that on it. That amount includes $150,000 from the easement sale. Without that one-time income, operations were still about $13,600 ahead of budget, very close to our goal of breaking even. Insurance is one of our strong areas through July. Insurance costs were about $39,000 below budget. Our new renewal cost is well below the amount we planned for, and that should continue to produce savings during the rest of the year. We are also watching utilities, special projects, and necessary property repairs closely. And I'll just make one comment about talking about the gate and what we've been out on it and so forth. We've been out approximately $10,000 at this time. We haven't got the final bills on it, so it's just process. So you can see why we may need to do some work to keep from having numbers like that again. As of July 31st, the association held approximately $5,330,000 in combined cash and certificates of deposits, about $2.69 million in operating funds, and $2,034,000 in reserve funds. We earned $76,279 in interest income. Net accounts receivable were about $35,800. And remaining collections matters is with the association's attorney. After a career in the electric utility business, I learned that reliable service does not happen by accident. You plan ahead, watch the numbers, maintain the system, and leave room for the unexpected. Same rule applies here. A well-run association does not measure success by spending every budgeted dollar. It budgets carefully, negotiates good contracts, earns interest on its funds, protects reserves, and uses real savings to improve service. We are not trying to make a profit. We are options for the community. That financial flexibility gives the boardroom to consider the practical improvements, including keeping trash collection at twice per week throughout the year. One that costs without weakening their reserves for the overall financial position. These figures should not be treated as a guaranteed year-round surplus because events and projects do not occur evenly. Since Pine Ridge remains financially healthy, liquid, and well positioned for the rest of 2026. And that includes the treasurer's report. All those numbers, like I said, is in this paper. If anyone needs a copy or something, we'll try to get it to you. But the numbers at the top reflect what we're really looking at. Is the total revenue versus total expenses and the excess and the combined cash with the cash and the CDs. So that's what makes our association black in the red, which we don't want to get to. But again, I apologize in there tonight, and wish everyone a good evening.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that treasurer's report. Does any of the other board members have any questions for Bill regarding the numbers he threw out? That's a lot. Yeah. No? Okay.
The good news is there's money in the bank.
Yeah, thankfully, that's good. It's a good report. Okay. Since we don't really have anybody here to do any committee reports, we're going to skip right on over committee reports. Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll move into old business, the alligator removal update.
The most recent alligator removed from Pine Ridge from our lake measured 8 feet 2 inches. This brings the total number of alligators removed from the lake this year to 2. We appreciate the residents who reported their observations to the office and helped us monitor the situation. Those reports allowed management to respond and coordinate appropriate action when the alligator became a concern. Although 2 alligators have been removed, we are aware that at least 1 additional alligator remains in the lake. Residents should continue to use reasonable caution around the shoreline. Do not approach or feed alligators. Keep pets leashed and away from the water's edge. In particular, the pets, please. Safety. Do not approach, feed, or attempt to interact with any alligator. Keep pets on a leash away from the water's edge, especially during the early morning and evening hours. Those are when they're hunting most often. Residents should also avoid cleaning fish or leaving food near the lake. If you observe an alligator displaying aggressive behavior, approaching people, or spending extended time near a heavily used area, please report its location to us immediately, or we have the trapper's information posted in the hallway and we've emailed it out. Management will continue to monitor the lake and we will take appropriate action when necessary. Our lake is one of Pine Ridge's greatest natural features, but it is also part of Florida's natural environment. Awareness and reasonable precautions will allow everyone to enjoy it safely. At this time, this is just information under old business and no board action is required.
Thank you, Eric. Anybody have questions for Eric regarding the alligator removal? All right, hearing none, we are just going to receive that update, and like you said, you'll continue to monitor. We will move on to the next item under old business, the clubhouse entrance door and replacement, the ADA equipment and the access control system. So Eric will provide that update.
I am pleased to report that the clubhouse entrance project is now in its final stage. As we explained in our project kickoff communication, this is a lot more involved than just replacing 2 doors. It's a complete commercial entrance and access control project. They require custom materials, permitting, electrical preparation, ADA equipment, commercial hardware, access control integration, and the careful coordination of 4 different trades. One thing that I've been saying about the clubhouse door and what makes it kind of an important part of the clubhouse is every single person who uses the clubhouse uses that door. They may not use the library, they may not use the kitchen, but they use the door. The scope of the work: removal and disposal of the old front door, installation of a new bronze ES 8000 impact rated commercial storefront entrance, a center front door with 2 side lights and clear low E laminated impact glass, new commercial exit devices, closers, locking hardware, and electrified door control components, a new ADA door operator and dependable wired push button controls, replacing the unreliable wireless approach previously used, electrical infrastructure needed to support the ADA operator and electronic locking equipment, reinstallation and integration of the front and south entrances with the association's new IQ card access system, and final programming, testing, adjustment, and coordination of the complete system. And that will be tomorrow. That's why you weren't coming through the front door tonight, and that's should be all finished tomorrow. The project required a lot of coordination with contractors. I'm not going to really get into the weeds on that with you. I thank all the residents for working around our construction the last 2 days. I know getting into the bathroom or doing whatever you need to do in here has been difficult. But Action Glass did an excellent job. And the project should be substantially complete or fully complete tomorrow. The finished entrance will be attractive, accessible, secure, dependable, and welcoming. It should also look like a major improvement we've all been looking forward to. One thing that we did do that is different is and you didn't see because you didn't come in that door coming in, but the card reader on the front door, there's one that's on the door for people that walk up and open the door. Then we also put a duplicate right next to the handicap button. So that way, if someone comes in the evening in their wheelchair or mobility device, they can scan their card and push the button right there, and it's safer and better. So we spent a little bit extra to do that, but I think it was the right thing to do. Another thing that we are going to be testing is same daytime schedule for both entrances, the front and back door. Currently, this back door requires a key card to enter 24 hours a day, or when the clubhouse is open. We are going to try to have, and the front door, this is key card 24 hours a day. The front door is open from about 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., it's key card access only. And then from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., we're closed. So we are going to mimic both doors the same schedule and see how that works. And maybe we'll eliminate the rock that we need in the back of the So I want to thank all our residents for their patience and cooperation during the construction and the process. I know it took longer to get these doors than we wanted, and a lot of people didn't like looking at the old ones. Sorry about that. As you know, the clubhouse is one of the most visible, heavily used facilities in Pine Ridge. We all use the door, and the project improves the first and last part of every clubhouse visit. So we are happy with it. I hope you guys are all too. And there's no action needed at this time unless the board would like to provide additional direction regarding the operating schedule or anything like that.
I don't see any need to do anything regarding the schedule unless we find it becomes a problem. But at this point, I say let's just go ahead and mimic the way you're talking about it. So, do any other board members have any comments on that? Okay. Then we're just gonna leave that one alone. The gate system we'll move on to now, the entrance gate and community security update, which I'm sure everybody wants some information on. So Eric is going to provide this update as well.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go through what exactly happened so everybody knows, and how we responded, and we'll make it as quick as we can. The first lightning event damaged multiple components of the gate system. It affected a large portion of it affected everything, but in particular, the gate operator and motor to the swing gate on the exit side. Because of the age of that equipment, there was a delay in finding the necessary parts, and the exit gate remained open for about 2 weeks. This happened to coincide right around the times that those tricycles were stolen. So that was very concerning to us. The reason it was left open is so vehicles could exit. If we closed it without the automatic operator, God forbid an ambulance, fire, emergency, and just you guys needing to get out, it had to be left open. But we understood that that created a security concern. To help address that concern, our partners at the Lee County Sheriff's Office were kind enough to deploy their surveillance tower here at Pine Ridge. The tower provided a visible law enforcement and surveillance presence while the exit gate was open. I know I got some comments from people saying that the tower doesn't light up, so they didn't think it was recording. I can tell you that I verified, I said, do those cameras work and are they on? And I was told they better be, because those towers are a lot of money. Pine Ridge and the management, we've worked with them over the years, and we sincerely appreciate their support. Certainly came in handy. So we were able to get the gate up and running, and a second lightning event occurred. So only a day or two later, I could not believe it. I could not believe it. The second event damaged the control board inside the telephone entry system. That control board is what communicates with the gates and allows residents to provide access to their visitors. We were initially advised that the replacement control boards were on back order and we might be out of business for another couple weeks. That was not acceptable to us. So I spoke with the contractor and went through every possible option and came to the solution of they had a complete telephone entry box, brand new one there. They opened that up, removed the control board that we need, gave it to us so our gates could be up and running. And then when the one that we ordered comes in, they'll replace that in the unit and sell that to whoever they sell that to. So we're very grateful to them for making that concession and doing that extra step for us, and that accommodation, and the gate is up and running again. We did have an issue where they were working on the lights yesterday and it went out again and we were able to get it back up and running. So bear with us. Right now we have proactive improvements. When we were completing these repairs, we did more than just replace the failed components and control boards. We installed new surge protection at the electrical panel, serving the whole system, and then also inside the telephone entry unit itself. So it's double surge protected. Our contractor also simplified and cleaned up the control wire. This reduced unnecessary connections and removed any possible trouble points. We spent hours up there making sure that we cannot have this happen again. Period. So that should help make the system easier to diagnose and maintain in the future and also prevent problems. Independent lightning protection review. 2 or 3 times in a row is
Too much.
Yeah, they say getting hit by lightning is like winning the lottery. Well, I don't know. Yeah. So what we did is I had a suggestion come from the managers meeting, and it was an excellent one, that we contact a lightning protection expert, a specialist, to come out here. Doesn't cost anything for ideas, and let us know what would he do if this were his property to make sure that this doesn't happen again, because we can't afford for it to happen again. If we're going to spend money, I'd rather spend it on the front end and have it not go down than spend it anyway and have a week of problems. So I'm not sure exactly what day he's going to be here. They're going to let me know. But the review may address grounding, bonding, surge suppression, electrical pathways, how the components are connected. And we're not even going to assume. We installed these protections yesterday, and I was told that this is the best and this is what we need. But we're not going to even assume that those protections are the final answer until that review is complete. Understand, no surge protection system, like Michelle said, can guarantee sensitive electronics will never be damaged. But a direct or severe lightning event is the most likely cause when that stuff happens. One thing I do want to also explain to people is one failure can look like a total failure. The gate is not one single piece of equipment, as you know. It's made up of many components that must communicate and operate together. And some of the components are not made to operate together, but they are made, or we make them to. When one critical component fails, it can appear that the entire system is failed. that is not necessarily the case. The complete system, if you know what it includes, the telephone entry system, its internal control board, the entry and exit control boards and access control programming, 4 swing gate operators, electric motors and internal controls, vehicle detection loops, safety loops, loop detectors, receivers, power supplies, surge protection, control wiring, underground conduit, and then the physical swing gates themselves, the hinges, the brackets, the arms, they break. We've had that happen multiple times. A failure of one critical component doesn't mean every part failed, but it means that we have to pretty much deactivate almost every part. And the gate is then open, which is what we do not like. So while these operators were being completed, we discussed the idea with New IQ that the association might consider replacing all 4 of those older swing gate operators. The reason for doing so would be 1, to get warranties, and 2, to have ease of access to parts. New IQ estimate 9582 dated July 27th proposes replacing all 4 existing operators with LiftMaster, CSW 24UL commercial swing gate operators, 2 serving the entrance, 2 serving the exit. The proposal includes the 4 LiftMaster operators with battery backup, built-in surge protection, receivers, and MyQ technology. 3 new plug-in loop detectors, 4 mounting bracket kits, and 4 grounding rods. 4 additional hardwired surge protectors, and the listed control and communication cabling. Removal and disposal of the 4 existing operators, and welding of the swing gate arms. Installation, setup, and master-slave programming and system testing. The quoted cost is $22,970 before tax. That bumps up to $24,463. The proposal requires 50% down. They usually will waive that for us. LiftMaster operators carry a 5-year limited commercial manufacturer warranty. New IQ provides a 1-year warranty on the remaining parts and labor. This estimate assumes that the association can reuse the existing electrical service, concrete pads, underground conduit, receivers, accessories, and other infrastructure. Additional costs may apply if some of those items need to be replaced also. The one thing I want to make clear, though, is that $24,000 replaces the 4 operators. It does not replace the physical swing gates. Now, the operators are the reason why those gates were open. The swing gates themselves is just an aesthetic. However, my recommendation to the board would be this. If Pine Ridge is going to make a substantial investment in 4 new commercial operators, I think we should also evaluate the condition and appearance of the physical swing gates themselves. Installing new electronics and motors would improve reliability, but would leave the community with the existing gate frames, the hinges that we've had problems, brackets, and the dated appearance. Replacing the physical gates would be an additional expense, but it would allow us to modernize the appearance as well as the operating equipment in one coordinated project. The entrance is the first impression of Pine Ridge, just like the front door is of the clubhouse. A complete modernization could provide new commercial operators, new gate structures, updated hinges and mounting hardware, better coordination between the gates and operators, and a cleaner, more attractive appearance, and a clearer expected service life for the completed system. The fact is, with the old operators and gates, frankly, we're on borrowed time. Before approving only the operator replacement, I would recommend that we go back and get a complete proposal with separate pricing for replacing the 4 operators while retaining the swing gates, which we have, replacing the 4 operators and all 4 physical gates as one coordinated project, and then make a decision based on that. And I think I know expending a lot of money at once is not ideal, but when you do these projects piecemeal, you down the line have problems. When you do them at once, you don't. And one of the fault points with these current gates are the hinge system on it. The welds give out and they snap. At least once a year we have one snap. If we can get a different hinging system on there too, that's more able to absorb the weight of those gates, that would be a big help also. So In conclusion, we responded to 2 separate lightning events. Damaged equipment was repaired. Back-ordered control board was obtained through a creative solution. Additional surge protection was installed, and the telephone entry wiring was simplified. The system is currently operational. The immediate problems have been addressed. We have also contacted lightning protection experts so he can determine whether additional safeguards should be included in the long-term plan. And the next question is whether we can continue repairing the existing system, or the question is not whether we can continue repairing the existing system. We can. The more important question is whether continued repairs represent the best long-term use of association funds. And with what we've just seen, it may not. So I believe we should evaluate the complete entrance project as one system before deciding, and then consider making the next capital investment.
Thank you. That is a lot of information. Can I get a motion from,
Yeah.
can I get a motion with regard to what Eric has said?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, hang on. Go ahead, Deb.
Okay, I make a motion to direct Eric to obtain a comprehensive proposal for the modernization of the Pine Ridge entrance and exit swinging gate system. This should include the replacement of all parts to update the gate, providing safety equipment, surge protection, electrical and permit requirements that we may need in making the change, and that we will have him provide us with what the anticipated installation cost would be, so that we may consider moving forward with this important safety issue.
All right, thank you. Can I get a second on that?
I second.
Okay, thank you. Is anybody opposed to doing so?
I have a question.
Okay, Bill has a question.
On the gates themselves, do they metal like they are now, or do we use an aluminum gate, which would cut down that expense too?
We're going to find out. We're going to find out all the different options.
Okay.
A lighter weight material on the gate would put less stress on the motors and prolong their life. So it's certainly an idea. However, you want it to be a secure gate, you know, and you don't want it to be something someone can just, you know, bend right open. So we're going to find the sweet spot and the right thing, and we'll bring it to the board and show all of you guys. I'm sure there'll be different designs too, so that'll be fun. And,
Any other questions? Because otherwise we do have a motion on the motion and seconded.
one other comment I'll just make
Sure.
is we did check our budget, and we have approximately $40,000 for entry gates and operators in the reserves. So when we get the final numbers, this really shouldn't affect our budget too significantly.
Okay. Then if there's no other questions, all in favor to Deb's motion to have Eric get this proposal, pull it together for us, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, then therefore the motion has passed, and we will look forward to your information. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we are going to move on to new business, the trash collection frequency. This has come up just kind of recently, since it's been hot, and ever since a lot of the seasonals have gone home and we went down to 1 pickup a week. But because of having a lot of people still putting boxes in the dumpsters and stuff like that, the dumpsters were filling up rather quickly. So we felt like we needed to have Eric look into having the dumpsters pick up twice a week. Twice a week instead of just once. We can afford it and we deserve it. So Eric, you can go ahead.
Well, from my perspective, this is a service level decision. And the question is whether the added cost is justified by a cleaner, more consistent, more dependable level of service. We have enough people that live here. The strongest reason to approve the change is sanitation and reliability. When containers fill before the next pickup, the effect is immediate. Appearance suffers, the stench and the odor increases, pests and wildlife become a greater concern, and we have to direct staff time towards addressing those complaints and cleaning up. A second weekly pickup gives the community more capacity before those problems develop. There's also an accessibility issue. In the 55 and older community, residents should not have to lift a bag above an overfilled container, carry it to another location, or keep trash inside their home or vehicle while waiting for the next collection. More dependable capacity makes an ordinary household task safer and easier, the way that it should be. A consistent schedule also has practical value. Residents, guests, staff, and vendors no longer need to remember when seasonal schedule changes. The same service all year is easier to communicate, easier to manage, and better able to handle holidays, visitors, and unexpected increases in volume. The primary disadvantage is the added recurring expense. The other concerns are limited. There will be another truck visit, some added collection noise, and minor wear on the roads and gates. But there may also be slower summer weeks when the containers are not full, and those are fair considerations. But they are predictable and manageable. In management's professional judgment, the sanitation, appearance, and accessibility and service benefit outweighs those drawbacks. The current cost for once a month, or once a week, is $3,374. Twice weekly is $5,826. And then there's about a $300 a month recycling and some extra fees. Using September 1st as the planning date, the added cost for the remainder of 2026 would be approximately $11,000. The trash line is then expected to finish the year at roughly $68,700, or approximately $8,700 over its current $60,000 budget. The estimated full year cost at this service level is approximately $73,500 plus whatever annual increase goes for 2027. And we would build that into the 2027 operating budget. So this variance is very manageable. Pine Ridge's purpose is not to produce a profit. Our operating budget is designed to break even while maintaining the community properly. Even after setting aside the one-time easement income, ordinary operations were approximately on budget through July, and the favorable insurance renewal is expected to create savings that are substantially greater than the added trash expense. The proposed change would be paid from our current year operating savings. No reserve funds would be used, and no assessment would be needed for 2026. So the bottom line is that Pine Ridge can afford this improvement. The cost is reasonable for a community this size, and the service directly benefits all residents. It's a measured use of operating savings, not an expansion that depends on reserve funds or a special assessment. Management therefore recommends that the board approve twice weekly trash collection throughout the year.
Go ahead.
And we're looking at Mondays and Thursdays.
All right. Yeah, all right. Then I'm going to make the motion to just authorize management to arrange for the twice weekly trash collection as Eric has laid it out there. Can I get a second?
Second.
Anybody opposed? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, therefore the motion passes and we will have trash twice a week beginning September. Awesome.
Maybe we can even get them to start at a week sooner.
Maybe. All right, we're going to go to open forum, but before we do that, I did want to address a comment that had been made at a previous open forum. Bob Tolles had made a statement that he was concerned about the association's website, whether we were fully complying with Florida law, particularly the new requirements added through HB 3. I just want to let you know that the board has asked our attorney to conduct a complete review of the website and all applicable statutory and regulatory requirements. He will let us know in writing whether the association is currently in compliance and identify any documents, notices, forms, or other information that has to be either added, removed, relocated, or otherwise corrected. We've not heard back from him just yet. But since this matter has been formally referred to Association Counsel, we will promptly implement any changes that are required and update the community. So then we are now going to move to open forum. John Mao.
John Mal, 9618 Windsor Club Circle. Thank you for all you do, board members. I appreciate you. Brian, I got some stuff here for you for ADT, Simply Safe, and Ring. Maybe you can look into that for new cameras at the front gate, along with some new lighting. As you remember, I asked a question in May at the last meeting that I figured I would get something back in writing, and it was concerning the governing docs being changed. I'm very glad after I read your minutes for the July 15th meeting that you agreed to keep all the same colors. My concern is that the Architectural Committee is not following this Chapter 720 Florida HOA rules. As you know, being board members, you are liable for actions or non-action by the board. Can you tell me who's in charge of the Architectural Committee?
The committee is, oh, go ahead, sorry.
You'll tell me at the next meeting.
Okay. I like it.
Just for your own knowledge, Florida statute 718 is condos, 720 is for houses, but they're very similar.
So I need to know, did anybody on the Architectural Committee give permission for a villa owner to install slider windows instead of the single hung, which is required by the governing docs? Just a simple yes or no will be. And then after that, if nobody gave that permission, Eric, I'm going to ask you if you gave them permission, being the CAM manager, to approve the villa owners the cheaper price.
Which address are you talking about?
I'm not giving up the other people's address.
Okay.
You know who it is. I followed the governing docs when I replaced my windows at my villa with a single hung. All should be held to the same standard as I was. Thank you, and next month.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Thank you.
no, I'm not done.
I'll give it a try.
There's phone numbers on them, and they all have monitoring charges.
Yeah, I know ADT went to.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Skip.
Oh. Hey, people, just because I've walked through the shadow of the valley of death, I'm no cop. I'm no cop. We're fixing up the clubhouse. At one time, these were 3 sliders. Could we put one back in again, possibly?
I think it's a good idea.
Think about it, because it's looking like we get more light.
To me, I think that a slider there would be great for, I mean, you guys tell me, because the social club and the social part, but if you have parties and you can open it up and people could sit outside, you expand your capacity by a lot. I think that they would have to, now I think they would have to stay closed and locked during the normal everyday operation, be for safety, kids, stuff like that. But as far as for the parties, I think it's ideal, especially when it's nice outside in February and March. I mean, right now you might not want to sit out there, but
One thing, if somebody needs help, there's no problem, but you can't just go shooting somebody, people, just because they're strangers. You gotta go through the whole rigmarole. Protect the police. You need help, call. I'll protect any one of you I can.
Yes, yeah.
Walk out.
Donna Tarasi.
Okay. I'm not gonna go up there.
Let me bring the mic to you, Ben.
You don't have to, I got a big mouth.
No, it's got to carry it on what they listen to.
True.
Stop agreeing so quickly. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who came to vote yesterday. I saw just about all of Pine Ridge there yesterday. Thank you, everybody. Okay, secondly, to reiterate, on the garbage pickup, I do looking on a few older than me people who cannot readily get to the garbage bins and things like that. And they told me it's terrible, and I've had to take out their garbage a few times, and it was terrible. So we're doing a very good thing by doing that thing for 2 days a week. It works. It's gotta work. Because I really feel sorry for them, and I'll be honest with you, I can't do it either anymore. So
Thank you for what you're doing.
anyway, that's, and one more thing, this is kind of personal. You said something about the palm trees?
Yeah. Every year, towards the end of August, we trim all the palm trees, especially the ones near the condos that kind of get near the roof and stuff, because we
Well,
want to.
next door to me, it's going over the roof.
So that'll be
Not
one-
me, it's empty right now,
No, but that'll be one that gets trimmed.
you know, so,
Yeah, we're trim everything back from the roofs before the hurricane.
and me, the regular tree, you gotta do something.
We'd love to see you at the next manager's corner.
I can't, I'm working,
She works.
I'm working now, so. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Patsy, you're on here to speak.
She
just wrote her name.
Oh, okay. I don't see the colors inside the lines.
Robert Tolles, 4685 Blackberry Drive. Noticed the electrical boxes had been changed out there by the gate, the circuit breaker box. And previously, we'll go back about 4 years, I know you had them put extra grounding devices, and I thought we had put everything on there that was fully protected. Surge protectors, all of that. Did they forget to put it on when they put the new circuit breaker box on? What happened there? Because, you know, we have a lot of lightning down here, and previously, it's not like every time we have lightning, it blows out the circuit board. Just food for thought, but, you know, it is not a surprise that when you have an antique, that it's going to be hard to get the parts. It is surprising that the circuit breaker, the circuit board, isn't something they would have on the shelf. You would think with all those units that they have spread out, or unless every time we have lightning, they blow 500 of them around the county.
Well, they had just given us their spare, and then we moved that one, so they took it out.
Well, yeah, I heard that, I
I
understand
don't know how many they
that,
keep.
you know. The other thing is, Michelle, you referenced a 16-page report on Windows last month. And in that, one of the things that you said, you know, well, you can make them look the same. You can put a piece of wood across there. You know, just kind of camouflage it and make it look like it's a double hung. But Eric, you remember at 4672 Blackberry 5-6 years ago, you tried that on window and it fell off, and then you called the window installer and made him change and put the proper window in at no charge. At least that's what you told me and the board at that time. So I'm not sure what has changed there, but I guess next month we'll find out. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I told you don't store it in my house.
Diane, did you need
No,
to?
my concern has been addressed, thank you.
Okay. Thank
One
you.
last thing, Gulf is ripping out all their ficus to check their fencing, and the homeowners association are looking at recycled plastic for their gates, because it's better than the aluminum if they even get hit, and they're much lighter. I'll try to get you the names.
It's like made, kind of like that Trex material for the deck.
Yeah,
That's probably good.
Okay, thank you. You got a name
if
for
they're
us?
going for it, it's gotta be good, because they're paying the ass neighborhood.
Something that looks a little more modern and nice would be nice.
Anybody that didn't, oh, Sue, sorry. Social club.
Sue Yako, president of the social club. Sue Yako, president of the social club. Woo-hoo! We're coming into September. We have our Labor Day picnic, which is scheduled for September 7th. Our first social club meeting of September is the 2nd, and we would love to have more people come. We're going to try and make up our calendar for next year. So the more people that we get involved, the more projects we can undertake. Karaoke is going to be September 12th, and excellent breakfast starts again next month. So we hope to see everybody out. Thank you.
I've been on a diet long enough.
I know, you got that right.
Good job.
Anybody who did not sign up have something they would like to say that was addressed tonight to the board? Oh, wait 1 second. Vicky first.
When you were talking about the dumpsters of people having to throw things over, ever since the hurricane, they replaced my dumpster with one without the sliding doors.
Yeah. We'll have to go back to it. We've asked them a million times.
For
to look
years,
that
we've
up.
been having to throw things over.
That's the only one. But I can't tell you how many times I've had to chase them out of here with all dumpsters like that and tell them, we need these sliding door ones. And they give you the lamest excuse of that they don't make them anymore, they don't have them anymore. I don't buy that for a second. I'm sorry.
Hers was the same. All right, well then, if there is nothing else to come before the board, then we are going to go ahead and adjourn. Thank you all for coming.